at your boxing, right? So this is what they do. Deontay boxing, 10 title defenses. The whole time they saying he need a new trainer. Man, look at his skills, man. He need a new. Now listen, if I'm training a fighter and all you're doing is talk about how bad he is, guess what you're saying about me? Yep, I'm a piece of shit trainer. This is the indirect shit that's going to media, right? So they say, man, he need a new trainer. I ain't teaching him nothing. Man, what? Man, Mark is not aggressive, man. He got to get a new trainer. He ain't gonna get shit. Soon as he got a new trainer, or was getting ready to get a new trainer, everyone hopped on the Mark bandwagon and said, you was the best thing that ever happened to him.
Those are the words of Malik Scott as he breaks down his love for Mark Breland, first of all. Shout out to Fred from Barbershop Conversations from conducting the interview. Like I promised, I will have counterpunches on certain segments of this particular interview. It was a rather long interview, but it was a live stream, and it lasted almost 3 hours. Now, what Malik was saying was... he made a good point. Like, hey, when Mark was with him, they said that, hey, he needs a new trainer. I think, did I hear that? I don't know if I heard that one. I know it was on Deontay Wilder, but regardless, though, he's right. Whatever your fighter does, that reflects the trainer. And then everybody was talking about how bad he was in his form and the things that he did in the ring, you know, the windmills and things of that nature. Well, that reflects the trainer. Now, let me counter, though, okay? It does affect the trainer. Malik Scott's right. But the last part where he said, then he decides to get rid of Malik Scott. They act like Malik Scott was the best thing that happened. Let me counterpunch that. They wasn't talking about how good he trained Deontay Wilder. They wasn't talking about the things that went on with Deontay Wilder in training camp. They wasn't talking about that. They was talking about the decision that he made to stop the fucking fight. Okay, so before, you know, a lot of people want to get things twisted and say these, and he had some good points, Malik did, but then you have to realize what happened at hand on why people praise Malik Scott, you know, because he decided, regardless, he wasn't even the head trainer then. Breland wasn't the head trainer. He was the guy that knew how to train over JD's, but JD's was that stand-in head trainer / manager. Okay, so he demoted him. He fired them both. He just fired Breland away from the camp altogether. He demoted JD's. Okay, so that's how that was ran. JD's did not give Mark Breland permission because round 6, Mark wanted to stop it. However, JD's was like, no, don't stop it. Okay, so that's what the problem was. Now, as far as the skills and the things that Deontay Wilder did while he was with Breland, did Breland need to speak up? This is what I feel. I feel that the connection or the relationship between Mark Breland and Deontay Wilder wasn't where it should have been. Obviously, there was some type of relationship because Mark Breland was present when he had his first child, right? So it had to be some type of personal bond that they've had to a certain degree. But I think while they were in training, I think that's where the disconnect was. And again, maybe it was just the chemistry of between the trainer and the fighter. Mark Breland, what I've heard Mark Breland speak, and he talks, he's a light talking guy. You can't be light talking. Just like the last video that I made of Malik, and he was saying on how he wants things done. I believe it was the first one, and how he conveys things to Deontay, and Deontay gets it because you have to say it in a certain way to get him to get it. Okay, I don't think Mark Breland did that. But then again, if what Mark Breland told me, or Anthony Breland, what he told me, if that's true, which I don't have any reason to doubt him or to call him a liar, well, he said that Wilder wasn't permitted to do certain things if he didn't want to do them. And Wilder himself said, hey, I got away with a lot of stuff in my training camp. So if you put those two things together, okay, this is what you have. This is the type of stuff that you're going to, go with. And it looks like it was a self-sabotaging training camp. Now with Malik Scott there and all, and Malik shouldn't know because he was around them. He was around everybody. So it wasn't even a thing of what was not taught. It was a thing of what wasn't practiced enough. And Malik Scott made that what it is. Hey, you can't do this. We can't slip this. That means that Wilder was doing shit that he didn't supposed to do to prevail. If he wanted to prevail, he wasn't doing that. That's why he didn't. That's why Malik Scott said the beating was the best thing that happened to Wilder. Okay, let's move on a minute.
I don't know why he got rid of Mark. It's so hard, bro. Fred, I say this with all intent. It's literally probably about 5 people in my whole life that I've really, really listened to. It's very, very hard for me to listen to something and keep it inside and for it not to go out the other ear. Because I don't move off of assumptions. I like to move off of facts. I like to move off of logic, historical examples and stuff like that. That's why anything you see me teaching Deontay, I say this with all humbleness. That shit came from the boxing gods. I'm talking about Emmanuel Stewart. I'm talking about Fred Jenkins. I'm talking about Joe Gooses. I'm talking about the historical, that shit that passed down to me and I'm giving it to him. And if you have a question about anything that I'm teaching him, I could show you 10 great fighters that have lived with it and beat tons of other legends with this shit.
So that was him pretty much clearing up and verifying himself and his credentials, which is great, which is good, very good. But him saying, I don't know how they do that. Well, we've already went through that because Mark Breland saved Deontay Wilder's life in a lot of people's mind because, see, hindsight, you could say he would have been all right. He was ready to fight. He would have been this. He would have been that. You don't know how the fuck he would have been if he would have still got beat like that. Okay, so you don't know how it would have went. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, for one, if he's that stubborn or tough or whatever, he wasn't going down. Wilder has a bad habit of just, he ain't going to take an 8 count and see. But see, let me tell you guys something. The same thing that happened to Wilder in the second Fury fight is the same thing that probably should have happened to him in the first Ortiz fight. That putting your fucking hands up, weathering the storm shit, that wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? Because it could have been stopped, but chances are in that fight, it wouldn't have been stopped. Not at all. Because, it wasn't meant to be stopped. That's why they gave him extra time. Because he got an extra ass beaten in the 7th round. But to go back to answer Malik Scott's question, no. They thought he was the best thing for him because he made the best decision at the right time. But anyway, that's my counterpunch on this segment. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.